Welcome back. Mark, let's talk about case preparation. If someone is in a car accident or has some other legal issue that requires you to go to trial, what do they need to do? I mean, first of all, they come and you consult with them, but what is incumbent upon them to make it successful?
It's really a team approach that involves myself or one of the lawyers in the firm, a staff member who is responsible for gathering information, and the client. We need folks' involvement, and we need them to engage in the process to help us collect information. Some of the biggest bullets in an insurance company's arsenal is a record somewhere in the past years that maybe somebody doesn't remember where they've complained of a problem that it's similar to what they're experiencing now. If they're asked, have you ever had any problems with your neck whatsoever, they might have gone to their primary physician 3 or 4 years ago and have been relating to their doctor how they've been doing and go, oh yeah, I had a pain in my neck that lasted for a few days, but it's gone now, it really doesn't bother me. That record comes up and the doctor documents, patient says has pain in neck. It doesn't say it's only a 2-day duration. So all of a sudden the client, that patient, is now not telling the truth or not being totally forthright. Well, that's not the case. They've got a medical record from years past that's kind of innocuous, but now it rears its head.
They simply forgot.
Simply forgotten, or it wasn't important at the time, but medical professionals, they document. And from the doctor's perspective, the doctors are treating the condition. The doctors are not really interested in whether the motor vehicle accident caused it, whether you had a prior spine problem. They're treating the condition that you have right now. So we have to go back and pull medical records from past years to see if you've had any problems or complaints. We need the client to be involved in that process to help us, to tell us who they've seen, physical therapy under those kinds of circumstances. So although an accident may be minor, the effects on somebody's life may be significant, and for us to make sure that we're prepared, we've got to go back and review all of those records, and sometimes that's a time-consuming process.
It sounds like it would be a tedious thing to do, and it would be very easy to forget something like that happened 20 years ago, and you had a little stiff neck one day. And
well, it can be, and everybody has those kinds of things, but the important thing is to make sure that you are totally forthright with the lawyer that represents you, totally forthright with your physician at all times. It's real important when you go in and see a physician after an automobile accident and you've hurt a part of your body, if you've had problems in the past, make sure they know that, because at some point they're going to be asked to give an opinion about whether the automobile crash has anything to do with your current condition. For a doctor to do that credibly, to have a credible opinion about your situation, they need to know about those kinds of past problems. And so we encourage our clients to tell us everything, tell your doctor everything, disclose everything so that everybody knows and so everybody walks into the process with eyes wide open.
Okay, so the medical record review is huge in a car accident or a vehicle accident.
That's part of the damages picture. What we also have to do is have an investigative team go out to the scene of the accident and collect information. Law enforcement,
tire marks and
law
things like
enforcement
that?
doesn't have the resources to go out and take photographs of every crash scene. So more often than not, our investigators are going out, taking photographs of the scene where the crash happened, photographs of any evidence left on the roadway, going to wherever the motor vehicles are stored and taking photographs of them. Sometimes we hire experts, engineers, who can reconstruct a motor vehicle crash based on evidence on the scene, based on crush damage to the vehicles, based on what witnesses and the parties themselves say. They can go back and reconstruct how the crash happened, speeds involved, times and distances, and those kinds of things.
Because a lot of times you wouldn't know exactly what happened because crashes happen so fast that you apparently, sometimes don't know what hit you.
They can, and those experts come into play and help us try to figure out what happened, when it happened, who saw what, and when they saw it.
Okay, very good. So the important thing is to be forthright with your attorney and with your physician.
Absolutely. And everybody wants to be. That's not to suggest that people would not be forthright, but sometimes people walk into their doctor's office after a motor vehicle crash and they ask, have you ever had any prior problems? Well, the problem that you had for 2 or 3 days that you told your doctor 3 or 4 years ago may not even pop up, but if it does, by all means tell them, just to be thorough in giving a medical history to your physician.
You're pretty shook up after a crash anyway, so it might be easy to forget that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mark.
My pleasure.
We'll be back.